podcast for this time, or for this video. Sorry, man, this is a great start. Um, for this time, it's just going to be Midnight Snack Gaming. I'm trying my best to see if whether or not this will work to stream to YouTube. We'll see. I'm really hoping that it does. It looks like the latency for YouTube is going to be a little bit long, but I need to test audio and everything first, and then I'll get into how I discovered this video. So it looks like the stream is working thus far. I hope it doesn't cut out on me. If it does, I will be very apologetic because I understand that this game, from start to finish, you have to follow. If you don't, then you're going to be very confused. So today I stumbled on The Forgotten City. It's quite an interesting video game. It's more of a storytelling video game, so if you're not really into the boring storytelling kind of atmosphere, then this game probably isn't for you. But if you'd like to tag along with me, I've played this game for probably about 10 hours, and the second I started it, I was just so engrossed in the game that I was almost late one day for work because I was just so tied up in the game and I wanted to know what was going to happen next, because it's a very good storytelling game. So if you would like that kind of atmosphere, then this game is probably for you. So hold on, let me just go to the very beginning so I can actually see the stream. I'm gonna turn down the volume so you don't hear me repeat. But The Forgotten City, if you couldn't, or you're gonna tell, is a game placed on kind of a little bit of a time travel trick. This is all in the description, no spoilers so far, where you travel back in time to try to save the Forgotten City. And without further ado, let's begin. Oh, sorry. So you're going to immediately start hearing the music, I think. Yeah. The music is quite loud, especially on this. I've turned it down, so for those of you music lovers, I'm sorry, but the music tends to, as you can tell, not only go over my voice, but it'll go over everything else. On the right side of the screen, it does say that content creators need to give a spoiler alert warning. Spoiler alert, this game does have a specific route that you take, twists and turns. I don't know why that is so loud, sorry. But it has specific twists and turns that are emblematic of the game, and the second you watch them, it's not going to make it very enjoyable if you want to play this game. So if you want to play this game and you find a point where you want to play this game, stop watching this channel. I know that's not something to typically advocate for. Hold on.
Hey, you're alive. When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, a phone, maybe. I hope you don't mind. But all I found was some loose change. So, wanna tell me who you are?
So I get the graphics quality of this game not great, and I prefer games that have more of a storyline than caring about graphics. So let me just choose this. So yes, I understand that the face doesn't seem to match up with that. You'll eventually get over that because the story is just so telling. It may not let me do this name. Oh. I don't think it'll let me do this name because it's going to say it already exists. Okay, I need a unique name. Bubbles, why not? Of course it wants a unique name.
Well,
all right.
It's nice to meet you. And I'm sorry to pry, but any idea why you were floating down the river? What's the last thing you remember?
So this is actually one of the most important decisions to make in the game. It kind of sets up who you are. If you want it to tell you more about the information of specific ruins or specific people, if you want that kind of knowledge, you want to pick this first one, which basically puts you as an archaeologist. The second one puts you as a soldier, which gives you a weapon with only 10 bullets, so you have to choose wisely how you do that. I would say for this game, that's up to you. Again, up to you if you want to sprint faster because you're running from the law. I'm going to choose this one not only because it'll give me a little bit more of leeway room as far as health, but this is also the one that I chose on my previous run through this game. I haven't finished the game yet. There is a point where I'm going to say that I don't know what's going on because I have not done that part of the game yet, but I've gotten quite far, so that will be a while down the road.
It does look like you took a pretty hard blow to the head. You're just lucky you've been given a second chance. Which is why I feel terrible for what I'm about to say, but I have a favor to ask. There are some ruins just behind you. Roman, I think. I need you to go in there and see if you can find a guy named Al for me. He went in there a few hours ago, and he hasn't come out. I've been freaking out, wondering if he's trapped or injured or worse. I would have gone in after him, but he made me promise to stay here, no matter what. There's no way I'm leaving without him, so I'm just kind of stuck here, waiting. What I mean is, I was hoping you wouldn't mind going in there to find him. If you can do that, I can get both of you back to civilization in my boat. Please?
I don't understand why she can't bring me back to civilization in her boat before. I mean, I do understand that's the purpose of this game, you'll find later, but I don't understand why, like, where's the logic behind this?
Of course. Sorry, I don't mean to be pushy, I just... What do you want to know? Oh, there's not much to tell. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Know what I mean?
You don't know half of it.
I'd rather not say if it's all the same to you.
Apparently she doesn't want me to tell, or want to tell me her name.
All right, fine. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
Now, you can be petty at this moment, it's up to you, but I'm just gonna say thanks.
You're welcome. Always happy to help.
You know...
Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Maybe if the channel gets to a certain point, you can open a poll for every single one of these decisions just to see how that goes.
He's the guy who washed up on the riverbank not long before you did. I thought maybe you two knew each other. I guess not. But maybe the two of you can piece together what you're doing here. In any case, you'll like him, I'm sure. Once you find him, that is. You really don't remember? We're in Italy. This river is the Tiber. Not much, really. But imagine what you might find in there. Priceless ancient artifacts. Al...
Okay, now you're being a bit pushy.
What am I, an idiot? You could hike a long, long way in any direction and never find another soul. Trust me.
But you have a boat. Just saying. If you have a boat, you don't have to hike.
Great. So you're ready to go look for Al?
I guess so.
Thank you. The entrance is just past those columns behind you.
I guess I wonder what
Please,
happens if you say I'll
hurry.
pass.
Oh, and he left this here. But I think you'll need it more than I will.
It's a flashlight. Wow, this is like my dad's old flashlight. I like how it says use left stick, left stick, left stick, and left stick to move. That's funny. Oh, I get this. This might be a computer game as well. But for those of you who want to know how to get this game, it's on Xbox right now under the Game Pass. So if you already have a Game Pass, it's completely free to you. Again, it's more of a storytelling stylistic choice for the video game instead of graphics. I mean, look at the water, obviously. They didn't focus on graphics. But that's not the point of this game. The point of this game is to kind of tell a story. It's quite an interesting one, too. Although, you know, the atmosphere is relatively good. I wish I could keep the backpack. That would be nice.
If you're reading this, it means I've discovered the entrance to an ancient Roman city hidden deep underground. Its existence is long forgotten. All knowledge of it lost, except in the Latin inscription here. It reads, You who wish to enter the city, step forth and be judged.
Okay.
The virtuous shall be rewarded with eternal life in paradise. The wicked shall find themselves showered in gold, but in vain, for this shall be their final resting place.
Wait, I want to read this. Let me
Could
read
the
it.
underground city have remained a secret for all this time? Could people have survived down there, against the odds?
Oh my god. Al, shut up.
Seems there's only one way to find out.
Yeah, I know. Drop down
If
to the
I'm not
bottom. Oh
back in an
god.
hour, I'm somewhere on the other side.
Stop talking, man.
Consider this an invitation. Or a warning.
Okay.
Al Worth.
Okay, your last name is Worth. That's funny. A Latin. Oh god. Oh, I can't read it. Dang it. Oh, I do have a drowning meter. That's nice to know. Alright, now we've dropped into this random city, random ruins. Is that a cell phone? Oh, I didn't see that last time. A broken cell phone. Well, yeah, I'm sure it's broken. You dropped into water, of all places. Some kind of inscription. Don't know what that means. May have a lot of random facts in my brain, but Latin is not one of them. Roman gladiator mid-stride. What could have made a gladiator flee? A lot of things, I guess. Alright, while it's on this loading screen, again, if you want to play this game, it's up to you. At any point, you can decide to leave the video. I don't want to give too many spoilers, because the more spoilers that there are, the harder it is to get enveloped in this game. I imagine playing through this the second time, actually technically the third time, because I was trying to figure out how to get it to stream to YouTube, because I realized that streaming only to Twitch doesn't work that well, because Twitch doesn't have any capability. Well, it does if you download the stream to Twitch. It'll have it available for people to watch. But if you're just Twitch streaming, this video game's not great for that, because it's like starting a movie halfway through. You're going to have more questions than answers, and maybe it's easy to get enveloped in the game at that time. But I wanted to find a way to stream it to YouTube, so it took me a couple hours, but I eventually figured it out. So here we are. Again, the graphics quality, not superb, but it's more of a storytelling game. I'll shut up about that now. She's begging for her life. Oh no. Alright, guess I'll run. And yes, you do hear the whispering. I hope it shows up in the subtitles on YouTube. A Roman military commander attempting to scramble away from something. So it looks like a Pompeii-esque event, whatever happened here. Or at least that's what I thought the first time running through here. Now knowing what I know after playing through the game, I kind of understand what's going on here, but I don't want to give too much away. For help that never came. Okay. So I'll try my best not to show
Whoever
this.
reads this, I'm sorry you had to find me like this.
Just because YouTube's very
Worse.
touchy about that subject, so
She'll
I'm
suffer
going
the
to
same
continue
fate I
on
did.
not viewing that at all.
I've spent a lifetime in this place, going around and around in circles, searching for a way out. The inscription was right. There is no way back. In here, there are only two options: death, or that godforsaken doorway into the past. I made the mistake of stepping through it. I wanted to set things right, and I tried. I really tried. Whatever I did, it took me right back to the beginning. Don't make the same mistake. Better to end it all now, and find out what awaits you beyond that portal.
So yeah, YouTube is very aggressive at making sure that that kind of content doesn't get spread. I understand why they do, because it kind of adds to idealization of that event to occur for other people as well. So I'm going to not show it as much as possible. Alright, random portal again. Graphics not great, but... That's weird, the audio cut out so strangely there. Another loading screen, yay. So again, if you're watching this on Twitch, you may not enjoy it as much. I would go to YouTube if you're on Twitch, just because you'll be able to see from start to finish. At this point, there's not a lot that has happened up to this point, just kind of a prologue to the story, which is kind of setting you up as being in present day, trying to help someone. After you find that person, you realize that there's only one step forward, and that's to come here. Which is present day, what seems to be a Roman city. Or not present day, but a while ago. I'll let you know once I get through this dialogue. Obviously, I'm in the past.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina?
I'm Bubbles. So I'm gonna try to have the dialogue in the order that I would probably do it. I'm not gonna immediately come forward to this guy and say, "Hey, I've come from the future." Instead, I would probably say, "What do you mean?"
Yeah, you know, agricultural goddess of springtime. You're not from around here, are you? Oh, I see what you did there, changing the subject like that. Nice try, but I'll ask again. Who are you, and what were you doing in the shrine? What? I'm speaking Latin. You are too, although your accent's a little strange. And you've just done it again. You're a sly one, aren't you? One more time. Who are you, and what were you doing in that shrine?
I'm gonna try to be as honest as possible, and you'll see why.
No idea what you're talking about. Oh, wait. Are you a bit, you know, not right in the head? That's all right, friend. Everyone's welcome here. We sort of lose track of the date down here, but it feels like the beginning of spring to me, so I'd say early March? It's 817 AUC. Sorry, you look confused. 817 years since the founding of Rome. Which part of the empire are you from, exactly?
That doesn't help me. Is this before or after Christ? Nice.
Hey, not so loud. Just saying that name could land you in trouble here. If you haven't heard, his cultists burned down half of Rome last year. Horrible business. I heard Nero executed some of them, but a lot of people are still angry with them, even down here. So, if you're one of them, keep it to yourself.
Oh, don't worry.
Listen,
in the future,
most folks
it's
seem
about the
a bit
same.
confused when they get here, but you seem very lost, and in more ways than one. So, let me make this nice and simple for you. Live by our law here, and we'll all get along just fine. Not laws, law. There's just one, the golden rule, and the punishment for breaking it's, well, it's kind of horrific. But our magistrate insists we take all newcomers to see him, so I guess I'll let him fill you in. So then, you coming? Follow me. When I first arrived, I couldn't believe...
What I do love about this game is all you gotta do is press A if you're gonna follow someone. You don't have to worry about the walk or run feature being too fast or too slow than them. You just press A and it immediately follows them like a cruise control setting. It's amazing. I wish every game implemented this.
There were people living down here. But, as you can see, we've got a nice little community now.
Actually, I need to see if the volume... Oh, God. Voice is still relatively high. Okay. Ow. I'm going to turn down the gamma correction because that's a bit much. Okay. Okay.
Only 23 of us at the moment, if you count the 3 who are missing. No idea how, since nobody knows a way out. But it's just big and dark enough to get lost in, if you're not careful.
Aren't you going to introduce me to your handsome new friend, Galerius?
I'm
In
married.
your loincloth, Aurelia.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
taking you
right,
To see the magistrate.
Bitch.
That pompous old bore won't be magistrate for much longer. Anyone who helps vote him out today drinks at my bar for free tonight.
Politics. I'd stay clear of it, and
Yeah.
her, if I were you. She's, it's not my place to say.
Oh,
Down on your
that
right
kind of woman?
is our farm, where I grow all
Sorry.
the food you'll ever want. As long as all you want is leek, cabbage, and wheat. Huh. That one usually gets a chuckle.
a chuckle
The
from
bloodless
whom?
shadows wander without flesh or bone.
Don't mind Livia. She means well. She's just been in a bad place since... Well, you know, I don't know what happened to her. Up here on your right is the chasm. If you've got a weapon, it belongs way down at the bottom. Up on your left is the Forum, where you can visit the market or get yourself patched up in Lucretia's clinic in the Shrine of Apollo. Most of us have almost nothing, just what we had on us when we arrived, and what we've been able to make and scrounge up since. And this central plateau is where the magistrate and the other patricians live, so don't expect a warm welcome.
Galerius, you're meant to be working the farm, not trudging dirt into the villas.
Take it easy, Horatius. I was just taking our new friend here to see the magistrate.
Well, he's asked me to escort the newcomer personally. The farm. Go. Now.
You'd better go with him. But just remember, they're not like you and me. Don't let them use you.
What was that? What did you just say?
I said it'll take some getting used to.
Yeah, I'm watching you, farm boy. Greetings, citizen. My name's Horatius. Magistrate Sentius asked me to escort you to him personally. Follow me, please. I expect the magistrate wants to brief you about the Golden Rule. It shouldn't take too long. He's busy preparing for the election later today. Follow me. The only thing you really need to understand right now is the Golden Rule. Let me see if I can explain it this way. When I was serving in the Legion, if there was a mutiny brewing in one cohort, the legate in charge wouldn't waste time finding the bad apples among hundreds. They just divided us into groups of 10, made us draw straws, and whoever drew the short straw had to be executed by the other 9. Didn't matter whether he'd done anything wrong. One of us in 10 would die for the crimes of the collective. We call it decimation. If that seems like rough justice to you, you're in for a rude shock. Because the Golden Rule is exactly 10 times worse. The magistrate can explain the rest. He's up these stairs.
I need to talk to you first. Come on.
What now? I'm a legionary of the First Italica, but there's not a lot of fighting down here. So the magistrate has assigned me other duties. I act as the magistrate's right-hand man, keeping an eye on his daughters. Daughter, I should say. And the others, and making sure they're all behaving. I also keep a register of new arrivals. I'm from Liguria, up north originally. I was doing all right for myself. 12 years into my service. Had a nice girl lined up for when it was all over. Not anymore. She's probably figured I'm long gone and moved on by now. I try not to think about it. My commander sent me to deliver a message to Rome. While I was there, I thought I'd do something nice for my girl, and pick up a little pendant from a silversmith. That's when the crowd started flooding through the streets, shouting fire. People were screaming, trampling each other. Then some Genetricum Fugitor tried to take advantage of the chaos and pinch my pendant. I remember chasing him through the crowds, down towards the river. And then, nothing. Blacked out and woke up near here. No idea how I ended up floating so far downriver. But I'm fortunate to be alive, I suppose.
Similar to how I started this game off.
He's one of the better commanders I've ever had. That's for sure. Good stoic. Lives by Seneca's words. Treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you. Can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah, the golden rule, as far as I know it, not in this game, but outside of this game, is treat others how you'd want to be treated. So it's interesting to me how they explain the golden rule here.
I went around asking the same questions when I first arrived. Never did find a way out. But I learned how to accept my situation. To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden. That's from Seneca the Younger, if you're interested. I don't see why not. Just make sure I get it back by tomorrow.
The way he handed it to me. So this is the list of all of the names of everyone that is here so far. I believe there's 23. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24.
Of course.
Alright.
Well, as I always say, it's kind of like a divine version of the practice of decimation in the Legion. By threatening to execute 1 in 10 men, the idea is to ensure order and discipline among everyone. And it works. If you knew you could be executed because your brother-in-arms is planning a mutiny, well, you'd bloody well watch him like hundred-eyed Argus, wouldn't you? Because your only chance of saving yourself is to stop bad things before they happen. Makes us all responsible for keeping each other in check. It's brutal, of course, but effective. The Legion wouldn't be the most formidable force in the world without it. A war crime? Isn't that a contradiction in terms? As Cicero said, in times of war the law falls silent.
Our worlds are very different.
Seems that way. War crimes. Ridiculous. What's done is done. I was forced to execute my brothers in arms, and those memories will always visit me in my sleep. But life is harsh, and I've come to accept my lot. As with the Golden Rule, I don't have any control over it, so railing against it would be like trying to stop the seasons or the tides. As Seneca the Younger wrote, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is sufficient. For he that is so wants nothing.
What's interesting to me is, even though he is a part of a legion, he seems to be well-read and well-spoken, but I don't know if he has a lot of forethought, because what he would be doing by killing one innocent man, I think, would be something that should be objectionable, especially by today's standards, but maybe not by past.
If you like.
I don't really care who he's going. Well, I'm not going to keep track of who he's voting for, so it doesn't really matter.
All right.
I won't talk to her
Don't
yet.
mind me. I just live here.
Oh, why don't you shut up, darling?
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your name?
We're finally alone is a great way to open up a conversation with someone you barely know. Sounds very, I guess I can't say that word, but we all know what word I'm thinking of.
A curious name to match a curious accent.
I'm Bubbles.
But I digress. Now, you're probably wondering why I summoned you, and I'll get to that. But first, take a look at this wondrous place, would you?
Already
A
have.
secret city built deep in the mountains many hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, I kind of do just want to get out of here.
In good time.
More importantly, consider the miraculous community we've built here over the last 7 months.
So 7 months they've been
22
here.
complete strangers brought together by the fates, living and working together in our own little paradise. And in all that time, not a single sin has been committed. No fights, no theft, nothing. Have you ever witnessed something so extraordinary as a city without sin?
Can't say I
Nor could
have.
I, until I came here. But the reason for this miracle is as simple as it is terrifying. If even one person commits a sin here, every last one of us will die. You see, the builders of this place, whoever they were, left inscriptions warning, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." From what we can gather, breaking the law here will anger the gods and provoke a terrible punishment. Like the curses of Medusa and Midas combined, turning us all to gold. We've come to call it the Golden Rule. It's extraordinary that we've survived as long as we have, and each day I grow more and more afraid that our time in the sun is almost up. And now it seems that day is finally here. All that matters is that somebody in this city is about to break the Golden Rule. Why else would Proserpina send you now? Unless you and I can stop them, our doom is assured. I know that's a lot to take in, and you look like you have questions. Please, ask away.
Yeah, that's probably the first great question to ask is what counts as a sin?
An intelligent question. There was a good deal of debate about that in our first weeks here. Does it refer to crimes or to some other ill-defined wrong? Of course, everyone agrees on the basics. No theft, no assault, and certainly no murder. But beyond that, it was more difficult to reach a consensus. What about lying, insulting someone, blasphemy, trespass, trying to escape, bribery, infidelity, suicide? As magistrate, I had to exercise leadership, and so I made a decision. We must uphold the laws of the Empire to a standard never before seen. And we must honor the peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome. It is only by offering the gods the proper respect that we may prosper, as Rome has for centuries.
I don't think that, and I don't think I asked him this either, I don't think that having a discussion about what may be right or wrong is gonna get me any further, so I just say makes sense to me because it doesn't really add anything to say I don't know if that's a good idea because it's already been finalized.
I'm glad you agree. The key things to remember are that we have laws forbidding treason and blasphemy, murder, assault, and rape, as well as theft and arson and so on. I have made my pronouncement on the subject. Unfortunately, there are still those here who resist, whispering blasphemous and treasonous lies in the shadows. I would be keeping a close eye on them if I were you. You see, in my search for a way to save my people, I learned of an ancient ritual to Proserpina, the goddess of the cycle of life and renewal. It's said to open a doorway in time so that if the unthinkable happens, one person can pass through it and travel back to the past. And when I saw you arrive in a flash of light from the goddess's shrine, I knew that person was you. You don't belong in our time, do you?
I feel being honest with him is actually important, so this is what I chose and what I'm going to choose.
2,000 years? That is unfathomable. Please, tell me, in your time, what did you see? What had become of us? Of this city. I have imagined it, our downfall, 1,000 times. But it still breaks my heart to hear the truth of it. All I can tell you is that it's a ritual sacrifice to Proserpina. I stumbled across instructions. I have to recite a prayer, and of course, as with all rituals, some sacrifice is involved. Usually that means wine or food, or in some cases a live animal. In this case, the sacrifice is rather more costly. The life of the person performing the ritual. I don't suppose you saw any sign of me in the future? Ah, I assume that was me. If I'm forced to perform the ritual, it's going to cost me everything. You'll try to make sure I don't need to use it, won't you?
Yeah, I'll do my best,
Well, I
but
suppose that's all I can ask for.
when I play through this the first time, there's certain points in this game where you're forced to, cause the golden rule to be broken.
Well, I believe you're in the best position to go around asking people questions.
That's true.
You're new here, and it'll seem perfectly normal. As for me, well, it pains me to say my attempts to impose order have not earned me many friends. I fear I may not even remain magistrate after today's election. The people here would only treat my curiosity with suspicion. You shouldn't have that problem, though, unless, of course, you get off on the wrong foot.
I don't...
You mean you couldn't speak Latin before you arrived here? How strange. But the gods are active here, and their temples and shrines hum with power like nowhere else in the Empire. Perhaps when Proserpina brought you here, she planted the seed of Latin in your mind so that you could better serve her.
Perhaps.
An unbeliever, then? If you come up with a better explanation, I'll be interested to hear it.
Alright. Okay.
Do you ever stare at a problem for so long that you can't see it for what it is anymore?
Yes.
What's needed here is a fresh pair of eyes. The less I prejudice the independence of your investigation, the better.
That is actually a good way. Alright.
If I understand Proserpina's ritual correctly, that problem should take care of itself. Let me see if I can explain. If you manage to prevent the sin that breaks the Golden Rule, I won't need to bring you here. I won't create the portal, and you will never have been able to come here. Thus, you'll have created a paradox. If this occurs, you should be flung back to your own time, having changed the past for all of us. Make sense?
Alright.
Ah, good. So, are you with me? Can I count on you to figure out who's about to break the Golden Rule? Wonderful. Now, I need you to investigate the city, talk to everyone, help them if it'll win their trust. I authorize you to enter private homes and inspect possessions and documents, unless, of course, you're asked to leave. Figure out who the culprit is, and as soon as you have a name, come back and tell me immediately. Oh, and one last thing. If I were you, I'd start my investigation by visiting Lucretia at the Shrine of Apollo in the Forum. I heard wailing from there not long ago. Seems like something's not right.
Alright. So far by all the explanations that have been given, it appears I'm kind of here, kind of like a Groundhog Day situation in which I'm there to prevent something from happening so that my repeating of this timeline will cease to exist and I will be able to go back home. Who are you?
Ugh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want?
What do you want?
I'm Sentia, eldest daughter of the magistrate. But you'd know that if you'd been invited in here and introduced properly. What are you doing in here? And why are you dressed like that?
Hey, a little bit of sass goes a long way. Her eyebrow raises. That's funny. Do you know of a way out of here?
What is it with you people? You heard the rumor that my little sister escaped and figure I must know a way out too. Is that it? Well, that's just a stupid rumor. We have no idea what happened to Scintilla. I wish you mouth breathers would just leave me alone. I don't know. Can you? Can you tell me how a person could have disappeared from a city with no exits and no crime? Was she snatched away by the Harpies? It was 3 weeks ago.
Okay,
We
so
ate our
21
evening
days
meal
ago.
together, and I remember she seemed happy. In love. We went into our rooms, I went to sleep, and when I woke up, she was gone. That's it.
That's it?
I think so, yes. But she was very careful about keeping his identity a secret, even from me. That doesn't surprise me. To him, it was like a prize cow wandering off from its paddock. He's upset, of course, but he says he's too busy with the election to help look for her. So he's letting Horatius do the heavy lifting. Some good that's done.
Huh.
I don't know. But it's been 3 weeks since she disappeared, and he hasn't come forward. That might speak to a guilty conscience. All I know is, whoever he is, he's still here in the city.
I mean, he would have to be unless he... That face! Make that face long enough, it'll stick. Her eyebrows are moving so mechanically, it's weird. Cynthia, Scintilla.
You really aren't from here, are you? All Roman women are named after their fathers. I think it's their way of branding us, like cattle to be sold at market. His family name is Sentius, so I'm Sentia because I'm the eldest, and my little sister is formerly Sentia Minor, but she is affectionately known as Scintilla.
I don't think that pressing her... Okay, fine.
I hope you're not insinuating I'm somehow pleased with her disappearance. If you must know, I'm here because my father has forbidden me from leaving the villa. I couldn't bear to lose you too, he says, as if he loves me, and not because he needs at least one daughter he can trade off.
All right.
So you'll help me find her? Oh, thank you. You should probably take a look through her room. It's the one just by the front door. Maybe you'll find something the rest of us missed.
All right.
Thank you.
I think when I first played this, I did a bluff just to see what that would do. It's not my actual, like, how I would do that, but... All right, Scintilla. Brass mirror. Ooh. Yeah, you would need to polish that one up a little bit more. You wouldn't be able to see that much. All right. So vials, cosmetic jar, I assume just holds makeup. I don't need to steal that. Ink jar, that's not helpful. Note. Scintilla to Cynthius and Cynthia, may Clementia give you the strength to forgive me. I am sorry to have to leave you this way, but I have found a way to escape and I must take it. I hope we meet again someday. Huh. I didn't see that the first time. And then... I don't want her to scream at me, so I'm gonna believes everyone is entitled. Okay, today my father suggested I write a diary as a way of keeping myself occupied while we all deal with the sudden and devastating disappearance of my sister. As a dutiful daughter, of course I shall oblige. The following pages contain my innermost secrets. I know you're reading this, Father. I may be young, but don't think me stupid. We're all entitled to our secrets. Ha! That's funny. Okay. Nice. Ares, Greek god of war. I think she's gonna scream at me, isn't she? I don't want to steal. Don't feel like it's safe for me to steal. Ooh. Got the dynamics of this game. How did you not find this already?
What? Really? I swear, I searched her room top to bottom and never saw that. I wonder how I could have missed it. Strange, but well done, I suppose.
Did you not check under the pillow?
Odd. It was only a few months ago that Sentilla's friend Yulia let slip she was planning an escape of her own. And yet, Yulia's still here. You should go and speak with her. Find out if she knows anything. She lives in the villa next door.
Alright. Ask Lulia about Sentilla's escape plan. Okay. I'll get on that after I'm done. After I'm done asking. I can't remember who. It's the magistrate.
Ave.
Ave. All right. Let's talk to the gladiator that was running away from something in his gold statue.
What were you two talking about? Don't play dumb. I saw you. Having a shady little chat with old man Sentius up on his balcony. What's he offering you? Money? Favours? What's your vote worth to him? What else would you be murmuring about on election day? Mark my words, Malleolus is going to be magistrate by the end of the day. And if I tell him you've sided with that feeble old has-been, that you've been trying to undermine his hard-won victory, you'll have picked the wrong patron. Got it? Good, then stay out of it. Nobody likes Caput Murdae foreigners interfering in an election. Can't hurt.
Gotta ask him some questions so I get some background on the very... Is butch not a right word for that? Englishman accent.
The name's Domitius. You want to get to Malleolus, you go through me. Too bad. He's busy. Unless... No. You don't look like you could afford it. I'm glad you asked. See, he's a busy man, and this is an important day. He'll be inside practicing his victory speech for tonight. Left me strict instructions he doesn't want to be disturbed. So if you want to see him, I'll need something valuable in return. Dunno. Something good. If you set one foot in that villa without permission, I'll skin you alive, you Pusilla Semitarius Mocus.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. Why am I here? I don't know. That is a good question. Nice. All these golden statues doing random poses. Alright, I'm here. No items. Who is this? Stranger. Don't know.
Give me a moment. Sorry I'm such a mess. I just lost a patient and a dear friend. Yulia. She was a good woman. No, now's fine. I can't afford to wallow here. And I need the distraction. What's on your mind? She was poisoned.
Poisoned.
She came in here frothing at the mouth. Normally, I'd treat her with resin of silphium, a rare plant which is perfect for this sort of thing. And I knew Decius had some at his market stall, right around the corner. So I ran over there, but he just looks at me with this evil smile and says, "That'll be 1,000 denarii." There was no way I could afford that, and he knew it. Then that toad shrugs and says, "Supply and demand. I guess you don't value your friend's life that highly." Anywhere else, I'd just pay a thug to steal it from his stall. But there's no way I can do that down here with the golden rule. So all I could do is come back here and just watch her die. I kept on apologizing. And now I'll never know who poisoned her, or how they managed to do it without breaking the golden rule, or why she cursed that snake's cruel black eyes with her dying breath. Well, unless you have the power to bring someone back from the dead, there's really just one thing you can do. Get me that silphium resin. I'm going to have another patient in here soon. Could be in the next day, or in the next hour. And I will not allow this to happen again. I don't care how you get it, but you have to make it happen. Because if I lose another patient this way, I swear to the gods below, not even the golden rule will stop me from marching up to that Genetricum Fututo and scratching his eyes out.
I wouldn't suspect her because it seems it would be a crime of passion and people tend to vent that way, so I'm not going to think this because she just lost a friend. I wouldn't assume that she's actually committed to doing that.
I'm Lucretia, and I'm going to be straight with you. I'm not a physician. This is Nevia's clinic. I've just been filling in ever since she disappeared. I'm tired and out of my depth and miserable all the time. But I'd rather take this on myself than let one of you lot mess it up. My husband and I moved to Rome from Caesarea. He embraced the Roman way more than I would have liked and turned into an awful philanderer. I would have divorced him and demanded the return of my dowry, but I knew he would sooner have me killed than give me my right. So I waited for the right time to take what was mine and disappear. And then the fires came. As he prepared to evacuate our villa, I gathered our most precious belongings, coins and gemstones, and the moment his back was turned, I ran. I could barely see for the smoke, and the streets were full of people trampling each other. I ran for the river, like everyone else, and leapt in. The next thing I remember, I was waking up on a riverbank, not far from here. It's all right. Say what you will about this place. At least my fornicating husband will never find me. And while there's no shortage of snakes here, at least with the golden rule, they have to try to be discreet about it. Oh, this shrine was in use as a clinic long before any of us arrived here. Kind of strange to set up a clinic in the temple of the god of disease. But the god who inflicts a curse is also the only god who can undo it. So I suppose praying to Apollo for healing kind of makes sense. Well, she used to run the clinic. She was a midwife, not a physician, but she was the closest thing we had down here. And she was good, too. Until she suddenly lost all interest in us. One day she told me she'd made some profound discovery about the golden statues. "This changes everything," she kept saying. But I had no idea what she was talking about. The last time I saw her, the last time any of us saw her, she was muttering to the statues, like she could talk to them. And then she shut herself in the palace, barred the door from the inside, and nobody's seen her since. She's been gone so long now, we figure she's either dead or up to something so strange that she doesn't want anyone else to know about it. But I really wish I could reach her, because that's the only hope I have of solving a troubling problem, a real thorn in the paw situation. One of my patients is suffering from terrible rheumatism. His joints are inflamed and he's in constant pain. I really shouldn't say. He wouldn't like it. And he's a little bit scary. He's become so irritable that the smallest things set him off, and I worry he'll end up losing his temper and lashing out, and you know what that means. I just know Nevia would know how to treat him, assuming she's still alive. But nobody seems to know how to get into the palace. Thanks, I suppose.
All right.
Oh no. Sorry, I don't mean to worry you, but no, that is definitely not normal. There was one other person who claimed she could hear the statues talking to her. But that was Nevia, and she went a little mad.
I don't need to know about Nevia, I don't think.
Anything about what?
Nah, thank you. Lulia... Okay.
Sure. What do you want to know? How did you know that? Yes, she did mutter something about the only way out. A few times, but nothing more than that, I'm afraid.
That's helpful.
Do you really want to know? I mean, if somebody poisoned her, then surely they would have broken the golden rule, and so maybe it's best we don't discuss it.
Okay.
Hemlock, I believe.
So I gotta figure out where Hemlock is.
I haven't seen her in months. She's not allowed to leave Malleolas' villa, and they are quite secretive. Gladly.
All right, I think that's it. I don't want to really talk about the golden rule
Well,
to everyone.
come back if you get sick or injured. Day or night, I'll do what I can.
All right, I don't suspect her in this. I think she's just angry because her friend's dead. I don't necessarily blame her. There's nothing I can do about Lulia. Lulia?
May Apollo keep you safe.
Thank you.
Salve. Salve, stranger, and welcome to our idyllic little slice of the Empire. I'm Dacius.
Hi, Dacius.
Terrible shame what happened to Yulia, but we just have to carry on, don't we? You mean, how did I end up here? That is a lengthy tale.
Keep it short.
All right. Well, you see, I'm in the business of procuring rare and precious objects liberated from the enemies of Rome. Mostly sculptures, vases, the occasional slave, fetch a magnificent price in Roman high society. Had myself a nice little shop in Rome just off the Forum, lots of foot traffic and close to the docks. Good place to be when the fires broke out. See, about 7 months ago, half of Rome caught on fire. Everyone who couldn't get to an outer gate was running for the river, open to escape by barge. So I gathered my coins and some priceless vases into a cart and had my most loyal slave girl, pretty young thing named Acantha, push it for me. All the way down to the river, I'm elbowing for a stampede of people, turning back now and then to make sure she hasn't legged it with my valuables. But, to my surprise, we make it, and I see this barge loading up, and it's so full it's almost sinking. But the captain's happy to take my coin, so I start boarding, and then he puts his hand on my chest and he says, "No, too heavy. The cart or the girl." So I did what anyone would have done. Of course I chose the cart. I mean, I can always buy a new slave girl if I still have my money. So I put my hand on the cart, and I guess she realised what was happening because those pretty black eyes of hers go all wide. And in one swift motion, she topples the whole bloody thing into the Tiber. No, I dived in after it, of course. Aren't you paying attention? That was a bloody fortune. Only, I guess I must have hit my head or something, because everything went black. When I came to, I'd washed up on the riverbank not far from here, with nothing in the world but a single silver coin. Thank you, friend. But it turns out it might have been a stroke of good fortune, because this place is a veritable treasure trove. Look around you. There must be more gold in here than in the treasury of Rome. If I can just figure out how to get it out of here.
He's a bit sleazy. Alright.
I'm afraid not. If you're desperate, I did hear that Aurelia down at the tavern claims to know of a way out, but I'm not sure I trust her. Some people here are a little shady for my liking.
Yeah.
Malleolus. I mean, Sentius couldn't even keep his daughter safe. What hope does he have of protecting us? Not going to happen.
Yeah, it was worth a shot.
Certainly. All I ask is a reasonable price of 1,000 denarii.
For those of you who don't know, a single denarii is a day's wage for a commoner, so that would be like 1,000 days worth of pay without anything else. So would be symbolic to it. So it'd be like what the lowest wage income workers in our current country. 725 times 8 would be about $60, so it'd be what, 60,000 bucks at that time. So yeah, it's
very well. Perhaps I can interest you in something within your budget.
all right. I could steal it, but I don't know if that's gonna
Very
help.
well. Another time.
I'll wait to steal anything because I don't know if that breaks the golden rule. So trying to think what next. Who to talk to next?
Ah, a fellow traveler from a faraway land. Greetings, I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst. We must stick together, you and I. And I must say, my sartorial friend, your clothing is most extraordinary. Leather boots in place of sandals, trousers with precise stitching, and such a curious design. I have traveled distant trade routes from the markets of Damascus to the farms of India, and never have I seen anyone dressed quite like you. Tell me, I must know, from which exotic part of the world do you hail?
My nation doesn't exist yet. I'm from beyond the edge of the known world. You'd never believe me if I told you.
Is this a riddle, or perhaps you mean to say you feel like you are ahead of your time? I feel the same way. Another reason for us to stick together. We will have much time here to get to know one another. But for now, do you require assistance? I know you do not require clothing, so information perhaps?
What's your
My
story?
story? How kind of you to ask. I am a tailor and I run the humble shop in the forum. You mean to say, with all the turmoil and terror of the Golden Rule and so few customers, why bother setting shop at all? I'll tell you, it is precisely because of the Golden Rule that I wish to remind my friends of the importance of looking one's best. I say, the more of our customs we preserve down here, the more we can preserve a semblance of normality, the better our chances of keeping our heads. Don't you agree?
Alright, how did you end up here?
A good question. A very good question indeed. And I would be happy to tell you if only I could remember it clearly myself. I remember I had just been to Rome to sell an extraordinary selection of wares, and droning in coin, I decided to celebrate my success. I rented a prestigious villa by the Tiber, invited over a few select friends, and we began making our way through some of the most exquisite wine money could buy. Quite a lot of it, in fact. Now, I have had visions and awoken in strange places before. I have even found myself naked in the desert sands more than once, but none of that compares to this. This time, I remember people screaming, then falling into a void as empty as time before creation, gasping for air, and then nothing. When I regained my faculties, I was lying naked by the banks of the Tiber, gods know how many miles from my villa. Indeed. I'm lucky I was carrying a little extra weight. I believe it kept me afloat. In any case, it seems I'd been rescued and resuscitated by a benevolent stranger. I went to find firewood for his campfire, stumbled across a cave, and discovered that trapdoor temple. And here I am. Anything you like.
All right.
I hope that our paths cross again soon, my friend.
So he's a tailor from what seems to be Greece. Why does it want me to go to Lulia? No,
May
I don't.
Apollo keep you safe.
Okay. That's good to know. I need to talk to someone specifically. Okay. No. Okay. All right.
A new face. Ave, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
What's your story?
Oh my. I take it people are quite direct where you're from. I suppose it's quite charming in its own way. Usually, however, you wouldn't simply march up to a Vestal priestess and without due formality or courtesy ask, "What is your story?"
I'm just gonna say I'm in a hurry.
Oh, a hurry, you say? Well, in that case, let's do it your way. You just keep being yourself and ask whatever you like. It'll be a refreshing change.
Let's see.
You really don't know? You are from far away, aren't you? Well, I am one of the priestesses charged with keeping the sacred flame in Rome's shrine of Vesta burning. I take it you know who Vesta is?
Remind me?
Vesta is the mother goddess of hearth and home, and the guardian of the Roman people. You know, I'm not entirely sure. But what about you? How did you end up here?
A young woman named Karen dragged me out of a river unconscious and sent me in here. Yep.
Karen, you say? And nothing about that name seemed odd to you? Why is that?
Yeah, because of the memes.
The memes? What are the memes?
I have to explain to someone in the past what a meme is. A meme is a small image you share with other people. They become a bit of their own language.
So, a bit like Egyptian hieroglyphs, then?
Something like that.
So your people make hieroglyphics depicting this accursed character, the one they call Karen. I wonder if... No. I apologize. I don't mean to be cryptic. It's just that you've got me thinking. Have you spoken with any of the others about how they arrived here too? I really think you should. Go around and ask them what they remember and see if you notice any patterns. Good. Thank you. But please be careful. I just don't want to see what happened to Livia happen to you too.
I may have already noticed the pattern.
You have? Then what is it?
Some people mentioned a river.
Yes. I understand many of our friends were carried here by a river current. What else? There are definitely some common threads there.
What's frustrating
But
is
I think we'll
I've
need at
noticed
least
more
a few
threads.
to ensure we're not just seeing coincidences.
They all seem to
Asking
have a
people how
coin
they
on
wound up
them
here.
down the
I don't want us to
river.
rush to any conclusions yet.
And then some of them have
Livia's
even
fate
mentioned
weighs heavily on my mind
the same trapdoor.
and dictates we should be sure. Yes, you should ask the others first.
You know of a way out of
I
here.
don't, I'm afraid. It seems to me we're exiled here until the gods judge us, one way or another. I'm quite sure it's the work of the gods, which is strange because they've never been particularly concerned with our misdeeds, as long as we've kept the peace of the gods. We asked for blessings, for good health, bountiful harvest, military victory, and in return, we offer praise, wine, incense, or animals. But here, it seems they require much more of us. I find myself reminded of an especially pertinent tale from our great poet Ovid in his epic Metamorphoses. Would you like to hear it? It is rather long.
Why not? I have time. Let's do the short version.
I suppose so. Jupiter and Mercury put a town to the test by disguising themselves as vagrants and asking for shelter there. Everyone turned them away and failed that test, except for an old couple named Baucis and Philemon, and so the gods gave them time to escape and granted them a wish, and then wiped that town off the map. Some say the moral of that story is that we must all honor the sacred rituals of guest friendship, the reciprocal obligations owed between hosts and guests. But I like to think it's that we should always show compassion for those less fortunate than ourselves.
That story of Jupiter, and I think she said Mars, is very similar to what the story of Sodom and Gomorrah was, or Tyre and Sidon, I think, in which angels disguised themselves and tried to find at least one righteous person, because there was a prayer about if you could find one righteous person, then don't destroy the city. Eventually a righteous person was found, but I think there was only like a few, so they were evacuated out of the city, and then God destroyed Tyre, Sidon, Sodom, and Gomorrah. I would say I
I'm
agree.
pleased to hear it.
I don't want to step on too many toes, because the warning was, well, if you're in good faith with everyone else, then sure, they'll be honest with you. So I want to be as agreeable as possible in this at this stage.
It must be completed by dusk, just the same as any other official business. It'll be between Sentius, the incumbent, and Malleolus, the challenger. Why do you ask?
Who's allowed to vote?
All of the male citizens who are willing and able to attend, unless they're running, of course.
Can I vote
Well,
then?
you're not a citizen yet, so no, I'm afraid not. But if it's any consolation, there are other ways to influence the outcome of an election.
Such
By
as?
using whatever gifts the gods gave you. Nothing untoward, of course.
So, solicit your body for votes? That's great.
I'm responsible for announcing it and making sure the procedures are followed.
Okay, so you're like an arbiter.
You can, assuming they're eligible and willing to accept the nomination.
Okay. And then...
As I said, I'm planning to hold it before dusk, but I suppose I could hold it sooner, if there's a good reason.
I'll just say never
As you
mind for
wish.
now. Because I want more information before I start
Certainly.
the election. Alright.
Come back to me once you've acquainted yourself with the rest of our neighbors.
Alright.
I'm afraid this area is private. I must ask you to leave.
What's all up to me? An anonymous friend to Octavia. May the Lord bless and keep you. I am sorry I could not risk discussing this with you in person, but if I'm right, then you're a believer like me. You may not be able to worship openly here, but know that you are not alone. If you ever feel like you need somewhere to pray, there's a special place waiting for you deep in the caves behind the theater. Turn right on the first fork, and again at the second. So it's instructions of where to go to worship God, or the Christian God, by their... What's all up to me? Alright. I think there would be one last person I talk to, and then... Oh, actually, 2 people. Let me talk to you.
Name's Rufius. Better watch your step. Can't talk long. Got to stay sharp, but... family's from Seleucia on Tigris. Babylon province. But I've been roaming a long time now. Even joined the legions. The 6th. The one they call Ironclads. Same way as everyone else. Because we're all in grave danger. Is it not obvious? Magistrate made me toss it in the chasm. Stupid. Going to have to improvise now.
I would have to agree with that. Disarming the population actually incurs more risks than keeping them armed.
If you were dealing with what I am, you wouldn't be either. Nobody is supposed to know about that. Did Lucretia tell you? Look, I haven't been at my best lately. All my joints ache constantly.
So he has arthritis.
And the pain. It has a way of messing with your head. I get stirred up by things that
most of the time
bother me, and then there's the statues and my doubts about
Fortune
my
smile
faith.
on you, brother.
And I just want to scream. You want to help me? Do what Lucretia hasn't been able to do, and find me something to make the pain go away. Until then, get out of my face.
His story is rather interesting. He's irritable to the point where, yes, he is a bit of a loose cannon, but I wouldn't suspect him yet, just because it seems to me that he's still following his duties even through all of the pain. Yes, that can cause people to go insane, but what sounds to me is he has some form of rheumatoid arthritis or some kind of autoimmune disorder that attacks the joints, causing that pain to occur. Really, as far as I know, there's no cure for it, except steroid injections can be helpful.
Make sure you stay away from that empty shrine. It's going to collapse at any moment.
Thank you.
Ah, a new face. Salve, and welcome to a little community. My name's impossible to pronounce for most people, so you can just call me Virgil. You
Is he
arrived
French?
on a sad day, friend. What with Julia's death? I wish we could have met under better circumstances.
He has very bright colored clothing, and that
I'm an architect.
It's distracting.
Or at least I was back in Rome. That's probably too grandiose a term to describe what I do here. Help out with repairs and try to stop old buildings from collapsing on people, that kind of thing. But you probably don't want to hear about the ingenious architecture or mysterious history of this place.
Correct. Alright, city's history.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Some of these shrines were constructed hundreds of years ago, which means Romans have been arriving here for at least that long. But there's one thing that puzzles me. The oldest shrine in this avenue isn't Roman at all. It's Greek. Well, yes, that could be the reason. Or it could mean that there were Greeks living and worshipping here before the Romans arrived. Which begs the interesting question, who really built this place? And could it be far older than any of us imagine? If only there was a way we could talk to the people who came here before us. The stories they could tell.
I imagine the golden statues are the voices of some of them. What about the city's architecture?
Gladly. Personally, my favorite thing about this place is the aqueducts. Those series of adjoining arches. They're an ingenious feat of Roman engineering with a very practical purpose. They take fresh water coming from outside the city and distribute it all across the chasm. It's funneled below the palace and into a cistern beneath the great temple.
He
Some
sounds
of it
more
flows down into another cistern beneath the villas.
Belgian
And the rest
to me.
is funneled to the shrine of Proserpina, where it fills the lake and allows us to fish and farm.
All right.
Hey, not so loud. Just talking about that could anger the gods for all we know. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you'd have to find a way inside somehow. Just, please, try to be a bit more discreet about it.
All right. The temple up on the bluff.
You mean the Great Temple? This one's a bit of a mystery. Given the way it's positioned so prominently, looking down on us, it's clear that whoever built it felt it was the most important temple in the city.
Okay.
Unfortunately, someone else went out of their way to keep its purpose a mystery. You see, usually a temple is dedicated to a particular god, like Proserpina or Diana or Apollo. Usually, that god is obvious. But in this case, it's unknown. There's an obelisk out the front, which probably used to bear the name of this unknown god. But it appears some barbarian defaced it. And of course we can't get inside because it's locked up tighter than the Temple of Saturn in Rome. And that contains the treasury. So we're all left wondering, which god is that temple dedicated to? And could it be the one responsible for the Golden Rule? Unless somebody figures out the
Now
way
he sounds
inside,
German.
I suppose we'll never know. Of course.
Notice the graffiti.
Oh, it means someone thinks I'm a sinner, and that I'm going to break the Golden Rule.
Why does someone think
I
that?
haven't done anything wrong, if that's what you're thinking. Somebody just has a problem with my preference for male company.
So he's gay.
Hey, nothing gets by you, huh? Sorry, that was mean. Yes, I like men. And when you grow up in the north, as I did, in the city of Noviomagus, you expect a bit of hostility. The Batavi are not known for their tolerance. I saw enough friends killed or driven away to know the cost of not keeping your personal affairs to yourself. So I hid who I was for, what was it, nearly 10 years? Watching what I said and where I looked. But that kind of fear eats away at you slowly, until living isn't any better than the thing you were afraid of. Needless to say, since I'm now living underground, halfway across the known world, with an assumed name, my openness didn't go down well among the enlightened folk of the Batavi. Nice of you to say, but not necessary. In any case, the Romans are far more accepting, and among them, I get to be who I am. Or at least, I thought that was the case. It seems I was wrong. It's not just graffiti. I have quite a collection of handwritten notes too. The strange thing is, I keep my personal affairs to myself. I've never really been interested in any of the men here. Not my type. So I'm not sure what I could have done to upset this person. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably one of those cultists.
Cultists?
Strange bunch. They insist there's only one god, and that he considers my nature a sin. Can you believe that? If there are any of them here, they won't admit it. Not since they supposedly burnt down half of Rome last year and went into hiding. All I know is, if these threats keep escalating, eventually my secret admirer is going to cross a line and break the Golden Rule. What? Really? I didn't expect that. But thanks. It's always a pleasure to meet someone so selfless. I'm glad you arrived when you did. I'd start by figuring out who the cultists are. Or maybe ask around among the merchants here. Someone who lives or works in the forum must have seen something. But if you find them, please don't hurt or humiliate them. I suspect they're just confused.
Alright.
Well, Malleolus is talking about loosening some of the restrictions in this place. And while it's all a bit vague, at least he has a vision. My vote isn't for sale, if that's what you're asking. Nice to talk to you.
Alright, I'm going to do, I believe, 1 or 2 more things, but I'm going to have to start work here soon, so I'm going to have to end this stream shortly.
Help! You have to do something! A man arrived in the baths. A real nasty sort, with his face all covered up. And he's got a weapon. You have to do something, or he's going to break the golden rule. Fabia, but now's not the time. Are you going to help or not?
I'll get right on it.
Thank you. He's still in there, somewhere. I have to hide. Find me in this empty shrine when it's over.
Don't go in there.
What? Why?
Just trust me.
All right, fine. Come and find me in my bakery instead. Please be careful.
Okay, there's a reason I did that. I want to... I'll show you. I'll give you. It's because I know what I know. Oh no! You are here to kill me.
Stop right there. I'm looking for Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, otherwise known as Quinctius. Do you know where he is?
I don't know a Quintius.
I'm not sure I believe that, so allow me to explain something to you. I am here with orders from Emperor Nero himself to find and execute the cultist Quinctius for terrible crimes against the Empire. So, if you tell me the truth, I will allow you to live. But if you lie to me or otherwise obstruct the Emperor's business in any way, I will put this arrow through your chest. Is that understood?
Got it.
Thank you. Now tell me, who are you people, and what is this place? A small community. Ha! I was told Quinctius was a cultist, but I never thought he'd be foolish enough to lead me right to the heart of his mystery cult.
Oh, sorry, that's my alarm. Hold on. This will be the last discussion I have, and then I'll do an outro.
Oh, don't play coy with me. I don't care if you're worshipping Bacchus, Magna Mater, or Christ. You lot are all the same to me. Always sneaking off to your secret sanctuaries, indoctrinating each other with your little mantras. The Emperor may have tolerated your activities up until now, but after what Quinctius did, those days are numbered. You say that, but if you're not a cult, then why go to such great lengths to keep this place a secret? So you admit you're not allowed to leave. Threatening me is not going to help you, but in any case, that sounds an awful lot like a cult to me.
That is true.
And I saw the inscription saying, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." I take it this is some kind of mantra you all believe? A distinction without a difference. You've clearly been indoctrinated into this nonsense. Now tell me, where did you lot get enough gold to make all these statues?
Those once people who turn to gold as punishment, that sounds like a culty thing.
You lot are practicing human sacrifice too. You people disgust me. Of course you'd say that, but that's what your kind do, isn't it? Our God told us to do it. It's all clear to me now. The secret sanctuary, the indoctrination, the mantra, the human sacrifice. You're cultists. There's no doubt in my mind. What baffles me is how a person can believe in something with such zeal. They just can't see what they've become. However, you still have a chance to redeem yourself by telling me where Quintius is. Do not waste it.
I have no idea who or where he is. What can you tell me about Quintius? What is it going to take for you to let this go? Gold. Take all the gold you want. I wouldn't help you even if I did know who he is.
Very well. Here's what I know. He's a 40 to 50-year-old man with distinctive eyes, one green and one blue.
So heterochromia.
He's also known to have delusions of grandeur. The Emperor says he and his cult, your cult, are responsible for starting the fire which burnt half of Rome to the ground and killed thousands in the process. Who are you to challenge what the Emperor says? Were you there? Do you have spies and scouts all over Rome, like he does? No, you do not. This is your last chance. Are you going to tell me where he is or not?
I have no idea who or where he is. I wouldn't help you even if I knew who he is. Even if I did know who he is.
Then you're of no use to me. Do you have any last words?
Alright, I'm not a cultist. You said you wouldn't kill me if you told the truth. Jesus Christ, you're an idiot. If you fire that arrow, everyone here is going to die. You have no idea what you do you. Nice.
As a matter of fact, I do. Once I'm done with you and Quintius, I intend to kill every last one of you wretched degenerates. And I can think of nothing I'd enjoy more.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
All right. So, yes. For those of you who doubted that this does in fact exist, you now know. Oh, Jesus Christ. They shoot arrows and they try to stab you. Ah, there's one right there. Follow them. Ah, she's going to shoot me. All right. Hold on, I'm almost there. The breaking of the golden rule. It looks like he's already sacrificed himself. Then you go through the portal. So, that concludes this episode of this series that I'm likely going to continue again. I really do enjoy this game. I hope you enjoy it too. For every time that I fail and the golden rule is broken, then I'll have to go back through this portal. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you're not into the a lot of the awkward breaks, then I'll try to see if I can edit it. It does take a lot of time, so be patient with me. But until next time, likely in a couple days, I will be streaming this video again. So if you want to catch it on Twitch, you can. Again, I wouldn't advocate for that just because I'll be starting, and after I start, I will get into it. And because of that, it'll seem like you're starting in a brand new game. So I don't want that to be the case for anyone. So with that being said, thank you for coming to this first stream. If you were here, I guess see you next time.